So, hello everybody and Happy New Year. My name is Kira and I'm going to be teaching a beginner's yoga class focusing on tree pose. And if you're watching this just after Christmas, you might be feeling a little bit sluggish, maybe you've overindulged a little bit, could be feeling a little bit frazzled. Hopefully this will be a gentle yoga class that will help to just get you back in the energized mood. So let's come to a comfortable seat. So you can sit in a chair for this first part if you like, or you can sit on the floor cross-legged, you can kneel, but try and sit in a way where you can sit upright. So the spine is nice and straight and we're lifting up into the crown of the head and we're not leaning over to one side or slouching, just sitting up nice and straight. I'm just going to start by bringing the hands to the belly and just breathing in, and see, as you breathe in, can you feel your belly expanding like a balloon? And as you breathe out, can you feel the belly drawing back towards the spine again? So we're breathing right down into the bottom of the lungs. Breathing nice and slowly. And then bringing one hand to your chest. So as you breathe in, can you breathe into the belly, but also the chest as well? Feel the chest expanding. And then bring your hand right up to your collarbone. Can you also feel the collarbones lifting? So we're breathing fully into every part of the lungs. And this kind of slow, steady breathing is really good for switching on the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system. It helps you to sleep, helps you to rest and relax, de-stresses you, helps you process stress hormones, and also helps digestion as well. And then for tree pose, we're actually going to hug the tummy in. So hug the tummy muscles in a little bit and then continue to breathe deeply, but keeping the tummy muscles firm. So what you'll probably find is the breath moves more into the chest. So you can see my tummy is not really moving very much at all. Most of the breath is up here in the chest. And then just releasing your hands, releasing the breath, just going back to normal breathing. And we're just going to loosen up the shoulders a little bit. So bringing the hands to the shoulders, we're going to draw circles with the elbows. We're exhaling as we bring the elbows forwards, inhaling as we bring the elbows back and open up the chest. So exhaling, inhaling. Make the circles as big or as small as you want. So if your shoulders feel a bit tight, make the circles small. If your shoulders feel quite loose, you can make the circles bigger. We don't want to hear too much clicking and clunking in the shoulders. And then circling back the other way. And releasing the hands to your sides. And we're just going to take some big breaths with the arm movements. So inhaling, sweeping up the arms. Exhaling, floating the arms back down again. Nice, deep, slow, steady breaths. Breathing at your pace as well. So your breath might be a little bit slower or a little bit faster than mine. That's fine. And just unraveling your legs if you're sitting cross-legged or kneeling. So just coming to stretch your legs out in front of you. You can still do this in a chair if you want. We're leaning back into our hands or leaning back into the chair a little bit. And I'm just going to lift up my foot to show you what we're doing, but you can do this with the foot on the floor. So we can start by just scrunching up the toes and then stretching out the toes. So we're exhaling and inhaling. We could do that with both feet together. Exhaling and inhaling. Nice deep breaths, breathing down into the belly, just as we did at the start of the class. And then stretching out the feet. So I'm going to lift up my foot to show you, but we're just pointing and flexing the foot. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling, inhaling. Nice, deep, slow breaths. And now we're going to come to lying on our backs, and we're just going to loosen up the hips a little bit and also do a little bit of work for the tummy. So coming to lie on our backs, and we're going to start by bringing one hand to each knee. We're just drawing circles with the knees, like a figure of 8. Imagine you've got a mirror down your midline. The knees are moving in opposite directions. And then circling back the other way. And then we're going to hug both knees into the body as best you can, just squeezing the knees in, giving all the tummy muscles, all the organs of the tummy a little squeeze. And then on your next exhale, you're going to lift up your nose and bring your nose towards your knees. And then inhaling, releasing the head again. And releasing the knees. From here, we're just going to roll over to one side and come up to standing. So if you're worried about your balance, particularly if you've got osteoporosis or if you've got any inner ear issues going on, or if you just feel like your balance isn't that great today, you might well want to do this next to a wall like I'm doing. And that means you don't need to touch the wall if you don't need it, but if you need to just grab it suddenly, you can do. And that can just give you that feeling of reassurance that you're not going to fall over. So let's just start by coming to standing, and we're just going to lift all the toes up and then press the toes down into the floor. And then just move your weight around a little bit. So moving forwards, moving backwards, sideways. And then see if you can find that place where your weight is equally distributed across all 4 corners of your feet. Relaxing the shoulders, lifting up into the crown of the head. This is called mountain pose. So see if you can feel as strong and sturdy as a mountain. Remembering to breathe. And we're going to explore some one-legged balance. So taking the weight a little bit more into the left foot. Imagine you've got roots on your left foot, like the trunk of a tree rooting down into the ground. And then we're just going to peel the right foot away from the floor, lift up the right foot, and just pause there and balance. If you feel a bit wobbly, as I say, you can hold on to the wall. But actually, the wobbling is really good for you, because when we're wobbling, we're training our brain to understand where the body is and to make corrections. So a little bit of wobbling is a good thing. If you feel too steady, maybe give yourself a little bit of a wobble and just see if you can come back to balance again. I'm going to draw some circles with the knee. So the circles can be big or small. It's up to you. If you need to hold on to something, by all means do that. Circling back the other way. And then, of course, we can do the other foot as well. So just lifting up the left foot and really planting the right foot down. So imagine you've got roots in the right foot now. The right foot is planted in the ground. It's really stable. And then we're just going to have a little play with balance on the right foot. And we can draw some circles with the knee. Remembering that the wobbles are good. They're training the brain. So don't worry if you're wobbling. And we're going to circle back the other way. And then bring that left foot back to the floor again. So now we're going to come into tree pose. So I'm going to give you a few different options depending on how you're feeling today. So if you're not feeling too steady with the balance, you can keep the lifted foot on the floor. So the toes are on the floor and the heel is just resting on your inner ankle. The knee is just pointing a little way out to the side, and we can just keep the hands at the heart. And this would be a really nice tree pose to start with for beginners. But if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, you could lift this foot up and then bring the foot to the calf. And we can start to draw this knee back. So if we're feeling pinching in the hips, we can let the knee come a little bit forwards. But if it feels okay, we can start to draw the knee back, so the knee's coming out to the side. With the hands, you could keep them at the heart, or perhaps you can stretch your arms out like branches. And again, we can take hold of the wall if we need to. So just finding a balance that works for you. Again, if you're feeling like coming a little bit further, we can lift this knee a bit higher and just run your hand down your shin, take hold of the ankle, and then plant the lifted foot into the other thigh. And you need to really press firm like strong magnets. Bringing the hands to the chest, and maybe we can lift the arms up above the head. So trying to come out of your tree pose with as much control as you can manage. And of course, we always need to do the other side. So choosing the version of tree pose that feels right for you. Taking a moment to really root down through the right foot. Make sure that foot is really grounding down into the ground. And then look at something on the floor or on the wall that's not moving. And that will help you to balance. We also need to remember to breathe. So we're going to hug in the tummy muscles and use these core muscles of the tummy to help us balance. And that means the breath is going to be a bit more up in the chest. So rooting down into the right foot, hugging in the tummy muscles, breathing perhaps a little more in the chest, looking at something that's not moving. We're going to lift up the left foot and then bring the left foot to whichever position feels right for you. So possibly left toes on the floor, possibly the foot is on the calf. We want to avoid putting the foot on the side of the knee. That's not so great, but we could put the foot above the knee if that feels right for you. And then choosing the hand position that works best for you. And of course, remembering that a little bit of a wobble is a good thing. So we're just practicing having a little wobble and then coming back to balance. So whichever foot position you've used, wherever you are, trying to release that foot as carefully as you can. Coming back to standing, Tadasana. And from here, we're just going to come to the floor and just take constructive rest. So we're bringing the knees together, having the feet slightly parted, and we're just laying on the floor. Just letting the practice settle. Letting your breath be full and deep. Resting the hands on the belly if that feels good. And letting the ground support you. So that's the end of our tree pose class, just a little taster of one yoga pose. And hopefully that's given you some ideas for practice. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you back in class in the new year.